welcome back to The Bar and Beyond. I'm Ruth Mohawe and I'm your host. It's been a minute since our last episode. If you haven't watched it, please pause, find it, and get all caught up. In that episode, we listened to some of the most outstanding female practitioners take us through their career journeys. And for this episode, we've decided to tackle yet another demographic of the workforce, a special demographic, and that's the Gen Z workforce, or Generation Z, as anyone not from that generation would refer to them. And joining me for this conversation are three of our lawyers, our senior lawyers, and I'm going to give them a chance to introduce themselves and what they do at the firm.
Hi everyone, I'm Rachel Nakalema. I'm an associate at S&L. I work with the corporate and commercial teams as well as the banking and finance team. Yeah.
Who's next? Me. Hi everyone, my name is Paul Mbuga. I work with the corporate projects and regulatory teams.
Hi, my name is Ferdinand. I work with the litigation department and the employment department as well.
All right, thank you guys. None of you mentioned whether you are Gen Zs or not. You may have to explain to our listeners where you are featuring on this podcast. But before we get started, I just wanted to play you a video that has been making the rounds. You may have seen it the last 2 weeks, I think on LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. And then, we can get your thoughts.
Research has shown that Gen Zs are ghosting their employers at the workplace. Take an instance where Gen Zs have been working for like a week and the next week they don't show up at work. Reason being they live too far and they have to wake up too early, among other reasons.
Nataka nifike kazini wakati mimi nataka, nilipwe vile nataka, alafu kama ni mambo ambayo uko ndani nataka yawe kulingana na vile mimi nataka. Sasa unapata kwamba katika kampuni wana zile sheria zao. Yeah.
Mostly tunakuwa na plans zile zinakuja abrupt. Utapata kuna event imekuja tu once na lazima niende.
So first, si majenzia tupendi pressure. We don't like pressure. To pressure. Kama unatu pressure hapo utafanya kazi peke yako msee. Unataka nifanye hii kazi by this time na maybe nafaa kwenda mahali ama kadeti hivi. Msena kughost vizuri.
Okay, we know we have to go to work. And kuna tu siku utaamka ufeel kuenda.
At least kuna options mingi pia kinifuta ni sawa.
Ikifika part ya employment, millennials kuna rules zingine bana mwezi tuwekea mnatufinya tu every time. Nasema iti ukue by maybe 7:30 asubuhi utoke 5 jioni. Hata sisi wenye Gen Zs, we also have some things to do. Naweza kwa maybe tumetoka usherehe usiku, kwa hangover. At least kwa na reasonable timing, kwa 8 to 5 ama maybe 8 to 4, kitu kama hiyo.
Sengine hata nyie mkoagi understanding. Ni ukweli juu, mimi nimekuja, yani nimejitolea, nikasema due to acha hata niende niseme tu labda atanisikia. Nikuja nikuambie you as the boss. Nilikuwa naomba tafadhali siku hata 2. Yaani nimekuwa nikifanya kazi vizuri for the past months, lakini sasa hii form imetokea na hadi naona hiyo form nikimiss. Ni hivyo watu watajibamba na mimi sitakuwa. Nikuje nikuombe ruhusa and I'm like naomba unisaidie siku fulani niende. Ukatae. Mbona sasa sikuzimia simu?
Maybe ni juu wanakuwa controlling. Unataka kujifanya
so it goes on and on about Gen Zs and, wanting to sleep, wanting to nurse their hangovers before they are thrown into work. And Rachel, I think for everyone's benefit, you're the Gen Z.
Yeah.
It's actually more fascinating in Swahili. Yeah. I know Ferdinand and Rachel have seen the subtitles, the English, but the Swahili is more provocative.
Yes.
Yeah. Than the English subtitling.
You should have, translated for us. You should actually, summarize for us. But Rachel, as a Gen Z on this show, is this an accurate representation of the attitudes of young people towards work? Like, it's a by the way to the rest of your life?
Well, it seems an accurate representation of what Gen Zs feel about work. But depending on where you're positioned and where you're working, that could be toned down a bit. But I don't want to say that is inaccurate. So Gen Zs don't seem to feel that work is everything about life. Like there's work, then there's life. So they feel that there should be a fine balance between those two. Yeah, I don't think most Gen Zs are willing to work themselves to death.
I think we need to be very honest. The balance or a tilt towards the
Towards the life. And I think Rachel said, depending on where you work, she may feel a little constrained to say how she really feels about this subject.
I was
based
about
on-
to
on
ask if
where
you
she
want my
works.
honest feeling.
Yes, we do.
I think now that we have Paul here, Paul,
Yeah.
you don't only sign the checks. Now you can sign the permission to allow her
Allow us. Allow
to speak
us to-
plainly.
Permission granted.
Yes.
How she
Hopefully
really feels
we'll
about
debate
work.
balance somewhere along the way, right?
No, we
Yeah.
are debating it now. I
Balance.
mean,
Yeah.
from you had it both in English and Kiswahili. Is
Yeah.
this a shocking perspective to you, like from the millennial boss side? Do you look at this and
Just shake your head like, what's going on?
Oh God, I was hoping you'd not say that. But before we go there, and I apologize, I cheated. We were not supposed to come with any notes to the podcast, but this was irresistible. So I knew I was going to be asked, firstly, that from my perspective, coming from a certain decade, and then
You can
and
tell
then,
us the
and
decade.
then observing creatures from another decade.
Yes.
What differences do I see? And many of those points have been psychoanalyzed in one way or the other. But for me, the biggest, the most fascinating point is vocabulary. So I apologize for cheating. Now, I wrote this down just before we came here. And for me, this is the typical Gen Z outlook. Please don't laugh. Okay, you can laugh. But please resist the temptation to attribute these phrases to anyone in the firm. So number one, I'm not paid enough.
did you go around capturing phrases from your different?
I already know.
Gen Z.
Number two,
I know where that phrase is from.
number two, but it's a weekend. Number three, but it's 5 p.m., right? And I think the Gen Z idea of 5 p.m. is actually 10 past 4. Right?
Fair point.
Then this is a favorite. This is a favorite of mine. I'm standing on business, but it's 5 p.m. And
I think that person is on this show.
And then this was from as recently as 3 weeks ago. Incidentally, there's a public holiday in 5 months. And then this is my all-time favorite Gen Z phrase, right? Of all the Gen Zs who surround me on a daily basis, it is the most effective one-word phrase I hear all the time. And it is simply tough. Tough.
When we're asked to do anything.
Yes. Whenever Gen Zs are asked to do something which a normal human being would consider rational and fairly balanced, the response is normally, tough.
Again, I think all the culprits of
But I'll
those phrases are
On this show.
here.
Somewhere.
I mean, but to answer your question, Ruth, and also Rachel, from my perspective, the biggest difference, even before we go to the more technical stuff, is the complete separation that the Gen Z workforce has brought to the workplace, or has brought to what their idea of the workplace is. For those of us who come, from a certain time, work never stops. Every day is a work day.
Yeah.
Which does not necessarily mean that you're working the whole day. I hope that makes sense. It's a very delicate difference which Gen Zs have completely failed to understand. But when I say every day is a work day,
Like even Sunday.
even Sunday, as the case may be, what we mean that every day is a work day is our grooming is to be constantly switched on regarding work, and to be able to be responsive when someone requires help. That person may be a colleague, it may be a client, it may be just someone within your work circle. Please be as responsive as you can. If it's a Friday, if it's a Saturday, if it's a Sunday, I mean, you probably have 13 hours of light, and someone may just need your help for maybe 10 or 20 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So that just requires you to just have a presence of mind to be responsive. I mean, on the other end of the spectrum is a very merciless separation of work and non-work. And that separation is completely unemotional. It's 5 p.m., it's a Saturday, it's a Sunday, it's a public holiday, right? So even if you require help, it will have to wait until Monday. Even if the help which sometimes a client or a colleague may need is, can you just help me and send this, or can you help me and upload that, and can you help and forward this, and etc. So I know we're going to debate it. When Rachel spoke about balance, I was tempted to intervene.
Yeah.
When we debate,
I've heard from your department before that we work, not time. So I think you've spoken a lot of English, but really what you were saying is we work, not time. So if it's 2 a.m. and there's work,
you should be able to do it.
That's a very radical view. It's the way we perceive balance is that it's probably impossible to achieve. So what you just have is a measured balance. I hate to use the word. A measured balance of what your responsibilities are and what you need to do to meet your other responsibilities outside the workplace, and also your own, personal, your own personal ambitions or arrangements. And the way work-life balance is spoken about is as though it is a constant metric that is in place from January up to December. Yet the reality of life is that over the course of 12 months, life is plateaus and hills and valleys and whatnot. There'll be periods where that aspirational work-life balance is achieved. There'll be periods where it will not be achieved.
And that's okay.
Okay. So now the emotional balance which we ask for, or which we are brought up with, is that on the days or nights or weeks where that balance is not achievable, that should not be a problem.
The end of the world.
Because like you said, or like I'm saying, right? It's a code switch. Jan is different from Feb, is different from March, and it is
okay. And
right?
we'll get to balance in a minute. I don't want to forget to ask Ferdinand to place himself one in the context of this conversation. I think our audience needs to know: are you?
Why don't you?
And then from that video, where would you place yourself and your views on this issue?
He's a president, first of all. He didn't introduce himself as a president.
I told him to greet the constituency.
He's a president of the unelected and the unelectable. Yeah.
Harsh. Tough. No, of course I'm not Gen Z, but I understand Gen Z. There's a lot that we see every day to help us understand them. Lucky for me, I have not yet had the problem with the Gen Z. But I understand their perspective. It seems to... First of all, one thing that I've noticed is that they make decisions very quickly.
Yeah.
If a Gen Z comes into this workplace and feels that this is not a place for them, they'll leave the next day, 1 or 2 days. They don't care how you feel, whether you feel good about it or feel bad about it. But the problem is that they want you to accept what they feel without accepting your reasons for feeling differently. So they are, I don't want to say that they are selfish, but if that's what you gather, that's on you.
It's not
So
being
be it.
selfish.
And
It's choosing. It's choosing
Choosing
ourselves.
me, yeah.
I'm choosing. Yeah. I don't think it's being selfish.
Okay, but I just said if that's what you gather, it's also okay.
I'm having, because I can see you're being very non-committal here in the third person. We're trying to place you because it seems like it's somewhere between the Gen Z and the
That's why I was
and management.
That's why I was chosen.
No, he's not very far removed. He's actually much closer to authority
okay.
than he's willing to admit.
But as Ferdinand, do you agree with those views on work-life balance?
I do agree because the realities of life dictate some things. If you say, for example, if your colleague or your friend called you and he had been stopped at Ginger Road Police at 6 p.m. You say, would you say tough? You can't say tough.
Yeah.
You go there and help them. Now, if you can go there and help a colleague or help a client there, why not do it at work? It's simply that. Now, when Paul was speaking, he says there are different levels, there are plateaus, there are hills. So you'll find, for example, when we come here in January until maybe Feb, everything is slow. Everyone is working at maybe 40%. So you're taking your valley around there. Work then picks up around April, slows down around court vacation, and picks up again after, for us who go to court, picks up after court vacation. So if you average it out, you find that you will have achieved some sort of balance. Although on the days when it's a hill, it can be a steep hill. But you have to accept that because life is not how you want it to be. The problems are not created. Unfortunately, we provide a service. If you're selling carpets and furniture, you can close at 5 and open at 9. But we sell a service. And the service is different from selling any other product. Now, and I'm speaking just in respect to maybe the service industry. Because I don't think if you have a furniture shop, you call your person to come and open it at midnight. No, there's nothing they're uploading at midnight. Unless it's a period for taxes and you have to do some stuff like that. So I want to believe that I am closer to this side, of course, because I understand now. I understand what goes into to have some things the way you want them. Paul and his colleagues have been fair enough and kind enough to say, you come and sit here and see. And see what happens here. Or these people are below, you try and manage them. And I see what you do. I accommodate most of the time. Paul, I want to report that I accommodate these people. I listen to them. I hope you people listen to me.
You just said we don't want to, we want to be here, but we don't.
I know that for a fact because you ask someone to do something, they say, I don't want that brief. So the client said it, what do we do? What are we supposed to tell the client? Take back the brief? Because in the moment, you're the only person or the only people that are available to do this work. Yes. But now you're saying you don't want it. So what do we do?
Which is sort of unheard of. How you were
previously. And at the end of the day, you'll have statements, and I'm going to draw from our notebook. You don't pay me enough.
I've stashed it.
You don't pay me enough. So the work is coming. You say, no, that's not what I want. But you say, no, I want an increment. I don't pay salaries yet, but I can when I begin, you will work.
And Rachel, I feel like we're a bit overwhelmed here. I feel like the tables are...
things are turning.
Yes, and I feel like the Gen Zs are either being misrepresented, unrepresented. I want to understand. At least let us understand you, because the picture that has been painted is that Gen Zs don't want to work. They're selfish, they're picky, they're entitled, they're, So help us understand you. Is this true? And how are you managing to do that and also, pursue like a legal career? Because we know that's actually like taxing.
I feel that most Gen Zs really just want to have a more accommodative workspace and work environment, like making work a bit more friendly for them. And it doesn't mean that, now we want to come to work in jeans or we want to come to work in our... I don't know what, like whatever.
Are you sure?
I mean, the jeans reference is very specific, but okay.
It's not lost on me at all.
We just want it a little bit accommodative. So, for example, I was talking to a friend of mine that was telling me they really, really enjoy their lunchtime nap.
Okay.
Yeah, at work. But they're having a problem taking the nap because... management does not
understand the lunchtime nap.
You're sleeping. Why are you sleeping at lunchtime? But then she was just saying, I just need a minute I just need to put my head down and then I'll be fine and reboot for the afternoon. So there are a few unwritten work rules that Gen Zs would like to, bend a bit.
Do those accommodations include stopping the clock at 5 p.m. exactly and on Friday exactly?
A typical Gen Z will tell you, I'm not paid enough to work after 5. That's what they'll say.
It's a contract of service.
Yeah, 8 to 5, and that's it.
You know, interestingly, I have friends, many friends that are a lot young. So, and they have been they are Gen Zs.
Yeah.
And they have since grown into positions of responsibility. And they have since also realized that maybe they were not exactly correct about their theories. Because the realities of the workplace and the things, if you ask everyone what they want, will want a gym, will want a place to, a studio. When we were at DLA London, they had a studio. You can go there and record a song at lunchtime. You can want all those things, but they must be within context. You can want to work until 5, until the client is calling you. You are the one in the position of responsibility to say, the client says, I want X. And they call. Then if you don't deliver, then they go away and they find another lawyer. They will find the millennial Paul who will say, at 1 a.m., I'll deliver. And he will deliver at 3 a.m. 12:55.
Just to make the point.
But seriously, is that there are things that you can want. There are things that are okay for you to want, for you to say, I want maybe to switch off at some point. Maybe I feel overwhelmed for a bit and I can switch off. Yeah, that's fine. But you must know that you have to deliver when required. Because at the end of the day, if you want to be paid enough, you must execute work.
But, and Ferdinand, I agree with you. But there's something you said about context that reminded me that I think we need to put some of these views in context. So I've heard it
paid
said...
enough?
So, no. Okay. Well,
Tough.
part of Gen Z views.
Tough.
I've had it said from, I don't know if I'm a Gen Z, if I hang around a lot of Gen Zs, I think yeah. But I've had it said before that what influences the Gen Z perspective is that they feel that millennials were sold on a lie, to put it nicely.
Yeah.
But basically they look at the people right above them, which is what you'd consider millennials, who have sacrificed or devoted their lives to work. And like work was everything, work for survival. Like that's your life. You go to work, you need it to survive. And 10, 20 years, like you said, Gen Zs, if they're not happy in a job, they leave it the next day. I think millennials and Gen Xs, our parents served jobs for 20, 30 years, a particular job, right? And I've had it said before that Gen Zs looked at that life and seeing their parents, those above them, after all those years of service, retiring into a lack of fulfillment, right? Like you look around you and yes, you have served, you are given a service award by your employer, you have
long service award.
You have taken your children to school and maybe that was enough for them. But Gen Zs and the lives that they've grown up, in like the move, how fast things move, they sort of, they're demanding more from life. And they're saying, it's okay that I'm not the most paid, right? Yeah. Although we say we're not paid enough. No, but like they're saying, it's like, it's sort of like a trade-off, right? Like it's okay for me not to climb the ladder all the way to a top, which I feel like was every millennial's dream.
Or not even climb it as fast.
Right? And as long as I'm able to go to a music class in the evening, go and be with my friends when they're sick over the weekend, be with my parents once in a while. And like that life is comfortable for me. Even if after 25 years, all I have to show for it is I stopped halfway the ladder. So with that context, I would say I'm curious to know, especially from the Gen Z employee and high employer. Right? Does that in any way make those views better? Does it give you any empathy?
I don't know why I feel my my experience is different, very different. Because many of us will tell you our experience of the Gen Z viewpoint is that it is full of, I don't want to say contradictions because that can be patronizing, but a paradox, I guess, right? Where the viewpoint is money is not important, but it actually is, right? Actually, if you want to, Gen Zs come across sometimes or like to project the view that we are, Wild Wide West, out in the world, do what we want. It doesn't matter how much you pay us, or that for them to achieve a certain quality of life or standard of life or to meet certain personal ambitions, money becomes, money is an important equation in the factor. So my experience is that when dealing with Gen Zs, your attractability value as an employer, remuneration is extremely important, despite what they say. And you need to be able to present, a compelling case in terms of remuneration.
They want you to pay them a lot.
So don't listen to them.
Yeah, don't listen. Yeah, precisely. So, and I don't see again a difference in the cycle. I think even us growing up, we'd look at our parents. Our parents were, for the most part, normal civil servant types, and you'd look at their lifestyle, and then you'd say, "This is not what I want to be." But then, when you enter a certain phase of life, it's almost inevitable that you have to work the way your parents did for you to be able to deliver the things that they own or the things that they did, right? And I think it just goes on and on and on and on, right? So even though the Gen Z perspective might be that their adult life should be radically different from what their bosses have or their parents have, it doesn't actually turn out that way in real life. And if we deal with the age demographic, when Rachel spoke earlier, she spoke about balance. And I was tempted to ask, I'm always tempted to ask balance relative to what? The typical age cycle is, I think, between, when we're in kindergarten, Ferdinand? 10? 3. So
Kindergarten
the blocks
is between 4 and 6.
Yeah, 4 and 6. I think every individual's life is divided into blocks. Kindergarten, primary, secondary. I think you can remember the amount of sleeping you did in secondary until your candidate years. Then you go to uni, and then eventually you enter the workplace. And even when you enter the workplace, for example, in the services industry, as a very ignorant junior, it takes you a bit of time to come into yourself emotionally, financially, technically. Yeah. Then you move from that phase to, the phase we call middle management. Then from middle management, you enter into more senior positions. And then from that, you become some sort of, senior statesman. Yeah, with people below you or looking up to you. Now, in each of those phases, there will be different pressures of life.
Yes.
Technical, emotional, and financial. So the viewpoint which you have expressed is typical for people at that age group.
Is that how you also felt?
Yeah, I would say so. And I think maybe towards the end we'll have a debate as to whether Gen Z is just a different...
Before you run,
yes.
The position I've expressed is
typical of our age group.
Yes.
That's who you call the ignorant junior.
No, I can't think of Paul out of this.
That's typical of the ignorant junior.
No, I'm just trying to bracket it age-wise. No, between 23 and 30. I think there are certain views which the normal human being would have.
Yes.
They are very aspirational. They tend to be romantic. But I think everyone who's crossed 30 will tell you your perspective changes materially after that, right? Yeah. So to answer your question, Ruth, in one line, really.
So we give them time.
We'll give them time, yes.
So you guys are sitting there waiting and watching.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So to answer the question, it's I don't think it's a fair it's not a fair outlook. It's an outlook I've read about. It's an outlook I've seen before. That these people want us to be like their parents or the way they were. In some respects, there's some points I agree with, right? I know there's always talk about millennials and pre-millennials expecting Gen Zs to go through the same level of suffering that they did, right? Yet the life context is entirely different.
Glorify suffering.
Absolutely.
You suffer.
Didn't know how I suffered. I slept. I didn't.
And hardship.
Some of us
I used public means until I was 38. Blah,
and
blah,
even
blah.
in that, you can even put it in the law firm context because we've had it before. Like us, we used to do everything. We'd deliver documents. We'd do the work.
But you Gen Zs just need to sit and type and you're complaining.
So you suffer the way we suffer. Like,
It's
how are you complaining
It's a different
about
digital
that?
environment. It's completely different.
Actually, you can't suffer like them.
But you can't.
You can't because you don't serve.
Level of
No, but we started without AI, so we were
But
kind of
fundamentally, Ruth,
suffering.
and I'm particularly pleased you brought up that point. My experience of it is it's completely paradoxical. What is said is not what is lived out, and then that viewpoint tends to disappear as the so-called Gen Z.
Yeah, but and I
grows
think,
older.
And I'm going to come back to you, Ferdinand. But one, I think there are two things you've said I think we need to discount. I don't
Discuss.
Discount. I don't think it's possible to say that because the Gen Zs, I think the current Gen Zs, I don't think there's anyone that has crossed
Mid 30.
Yes, that has crossed, so
No,
we do
not
not
yet.
actually know.
As of the date of this podcast,
Yes.
right now.
So we do not actually know that their
this
viewpoints will
happens,
actually change, or whether, like you've said, they will live out their lives, because you mentioned that their lives will not turn out very different from the people
you
that they
guys.
are trying not to live like. But we don't know that. I think it's too early to
I
call.
feel that we're going to be
But-
the change makers.
And I wanted to come to you, Rachel, to define two things for
Should have
us.
seen Ferdinand's reaction to that statement.
To define two things for us that Paul
It's
asked
similar.
about.
It's similar to you are the youth of tomorrow, the leaders of tomorrow, rather.
Yeah, two things.
No, because Paul said he's curious what that means. So I want you to define for us balance in the face of a Gen Z. I feel like the millennials have spoken for us, what they think our views are, what they think our priorities are, right?
Yeah.
How they think we assess or don't assess things or give thought to things. They've painted it in a certain, picture. So when they ask, what does balance look like for you, or what does work look like or mean to you, or can you just...
Balance is very tricky to define, but what I can say is work shouldn't feel like work. Like, I don't want to feel like I have this heavy thing I'm lifting because of work. It's difficult to define, but I don't want to feel that when I look back on my life, all I remember is, I really worked. It shouldn't feel that way. And I think because we've seen our parents and maybe our grandparents, they worked for a really, really long period of time, we don't feel that there was living. Like, when are you living? When are you doing those things that that I don't say that normal human beings are doing,
that
but
bring you joy?
Yes, that when are you not working? So when Gen Zs see that, they say, you know what? If I'm going to be working till I'm 50, let me take that trip. Let me save my money. Let me buy that nice thing. Let me do.
So, but like in practical day-to-day terms, what would... When you've talked about accommodations that need to be made for you, so just to give them some understanding, so that we don't speak in the abstract, to give them an understanding. Your work week.
It's about to say I want a screaming room when I'm frustrated.
You've told us you don't want work to feel like work. I don't know if you think work should be a party. But like day to day, what are those accommodations that you would say Gen Zs require? You gave an example of a lunchtime nap.
Yeah. I think like after 5, really.
You should be able to do other things.
I should be able to go take my spin class.
And then if a client wants something at 7 p.m.,
the client can communicate with me, but I should be able to have room to assess. Like, must I do this now?
Like, we're not surgeons.
If we go to bed and I pick it up at 8 in the morning, Is that okay?
You know, like no one will die.
Yeah, like you said, we're not surgeons. We're not. It's not a life-saving
Life
mission.
death.
Yeah. I've had some friend of mine say, "Oh no. Like it's a company. They're not a human being. They're not going to die." Something like that.
And do you think that that's a view you can afford to have in the services industry?
It's
I
tricky.
mean, because I'm sure you've had it said before, especially in law firms, that if you do that, then they'll just go to the next lawyer who can do it at 10 p.m.
It's tricky, but I should be at least given the room to assess. Because, for example, if you're working in a firm like this, you need to be able to say, I can look at it, and you should assess and have fair judgment. Must I do this now? I mean, you're not going to pass off every opportunity to deliver something to a client because, I'm Gen Z and after 5, my Outlook is closed and I can't open it.
But we've had those views from Gen Zs before, that
That's
they don't
correct.
open Outlook.
That's correct, but
yeah.
I think we need to also put it in context where you work. And that's why I say you need
So
to be
they've
given...
broken you.
Yeah. No. I need to be given the opportunity to assess. I need to be able to assess. Must I do this now? And quite honestly, if the answer is no, I don't think I should be doing it. Can we do it in the morning? Like, do you really, really need that document right now?
Like, are you going to look at it? I know a millennial boss who always says, the client won't look at it at 8 p.m.
If it's like an invoice and maybe you're asking me for it on a Saturday, I mean, is it going to be processed now? So there's that room for, you need to give it a little bit of room. And I feel
I just wanted to say that if it's an invoice, anything else might wait.
But not the invoice. No, but that was an example. So I think Gen Zs, I should be able to do my thing after 5 in peace without you telling me, this is urgent. Are you near your laptop? And so now I'm at a pork joint with my friends and
But
I'm
you're
pulling out
opening
my
your
laptop.
laptop.
Because that
has actually happened.
I know it's happened before, so I'm speaking very, very, very about very real things. But must I pull out that laptop? Must I sit in my car when I'm in the basement of the parking going to the gym, but then, there's this thing and I need to do it now. And I feel that sometimes that's the room that some millennials, what's the generation before that?
Gen X.
The Gen X, sometimes it's a bit difficult for them to understand.
Well, Rachel, I feel like, in all fairness, I think they've broken you because I've never had a Gen Z say before, at least in a safe space. Maybe this is also not a safe space.
Yes, that might
but
be
I've
the
never had a
problem.
Gen Z say before, I need to be given room to assess whether I should work at 8 p.m. I think even from the video I played earlier, the radical, and maybe that qualifies your point, the radical Gen Z viewpoint is
It's
I
totally
have
different.
work, and after work, I cut off, and there's no
That's
debate
correct.
about
Complete
it.
And I don't
separation.
even
No.
want to say that I'm not guilty of doing that. But, some things are small things, honestly. It's a document. I don't need to work on it. I can forward it. But you want me to pull out my
Start an
laptop and
opinion
open track changes? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going
Okay.
to do that.
Well, Ferdinand.
She's trying to be unbroken.
I'm redeeming myself.
Ferdinand, you betrayed us and said so many things about Gen Z.
That we're lazy and
And yet we
entitled.
thought you were like our biggest supporter.
Fan.
But, it became real at some
It's
point.
really funny because Ferdinand
So-
is always saying we should be closing the laptops at 5.
He's
So
always
I
announcing
don't-
he has a brigade.
Yeah.
He has an
He
entire
has a
brigade
laptops
that he
at
tells
5 brigade.
friends. It's
So,
them.
yeah. Reconcile.
You see,
Does he say that? I've never heard it
Are you serious?
from him. Yeah.
They will tell us.
You know, I always tell you guys that you have to use your time well. So the problem is that you normally have is that, and sometimes it's the position that you hold, because during the day, Ferdinand will call you, Paul will call you, so you probably will not do your work consistently over a long period of time. That's understandable, and that's why maybe you then have to work later. I understand that problem. But then again, you find that there's a lot of wastage of time during the day. And then you have to work after 5.
Because you aren't really using
more
the hours fully.
more often than not, you find yourself, there are things that you ought to have done earlier and
that
you didn't do them, and then you end up doing that at 5.
Yeah.
I told someone here, and Paul, maybe you can confirm, I last worked on Saturday from the office in 2017. And 2017 was my first year here, which means that most of what you're looking for is achievable. You can work 8 to 5 or 7:30 to 5, or maybe slightly 5:30, 6. Sometimes you're kept in the office not because there is work, but because someone is passing by and there's no room to leave. You're waiting for traffic, everything. But I think it's achievable. There will be some times when things will overlap, and those are the hills that he was talking about. You could be in the valley all your life. The problem is that you don't want to look at it that way. And even when I come to your offices and tell you it's 5, let's go, I'm thinking, use your time earlier, a little better. It's difficult, but it's achievable because of the many calls that you will have. So I am still your friend. I'm still your friend. I still understand you. When I send you something and you can't do it, I'll tell you, let me do it myself. Because I probably need it that very minute. And I don't think anyone would maliciously tell you at 7 p.m. or at 9 p.m., do this thing now and send it to me, and the client wants it next week. No.
Usually the pressure is coming from the other side.
So, and that's what I said. And the balance that you talk about is that you have to understand that for you to receive that check at the end of the month, you have to put in the work. Now, if you have 5, 7, 10 assignments that are incomplete, you didn't bill. I asked you to bill. You said the bill won't be paid on Saturday. But once you left, the person who was supposed to clear it first has now left the company, or is in is on leave now. He's on leave. Then you don't get paid. Then that means there will be no money at the end of the month. I'm still with you. I still understand the things, some of the things that you want. I still understand flexi hours. If someone could use flexi hours, say, me, I work better around this time. And I think you might have noticed, you push a lot more work here, and between 5 and 7:30.
5 and 10 p.m. and over the weekend.
And you know why? Paul is not calling you, Ferdinand is not calling you, everybody is not calling you. And you're concentrating and you're doing that work. Now, the argument on flexi hours, I think management can take it up, but I think it's not a bad idea, especially for people that don't go to work. Because if Ferdinand asks for flexi hours, I'll tell the judge to come at 5 p.m. No. So, so I have to be here around the time that is there. That's why probably leave is difficult for us when it's not
code vacation. So instead of existing a structure.
So there is a structure. Some, we're talking about this decorum and respect for seniors. And you know that some Gen Zs have no respect at all, or think that there is no reason they should respect you because you're older than them.
Oh, they say, like it should be earned.
But the thing is that systems work to protect everybody. It's just that, like the law. You will disregard it, and where there is chaos and anarchy is when you realize that we actually needed structure. So the Gen Z sort of does not want
structure.
That kind of structure.
It doesn't have to be black or white box.
They want to just fly.
Like remove the chains.
And I just can't wait for the Gen Z to start a business.
To reach mid-management.
No, that's usually when the conversion occurs.
When you were thinking like us at one point.
Yeah, I was.
Of course.
So. I think so, right? Some of these perspectives, to be honest. Because even us, when we were coming into the workplace, there were views about how our generation and its attitude to work was. And
really?
From those, you hear it about how I think boomers and Gen X clashed at a point, and then.
No, for us, we were too ambitious. We were too aggressive. We were too quick, right? So, the generation before us felt. I remember receiving a comment as a junior that I think you're doing this too quickly, which in my perspective was something positive from a client viewpoint. Now, when you skip a generation to come to your generation, someone doing something too quickly is too hardworking or imbalanced, right? You say, oh, you're imbalanced, why don't you go home and sleep? Then the generation before me feels, oh, you're too quick, can you slow down a bit?
Yeah,
right?
too eager, yeah.
So yes, absolutely.
But guys, I would like to end this conversation on a positive note, on a better note. So I mean, are you, and here I'm addressing the two of you specifically, Ferdinand and Paul.
I am a Gen Z now.
Yes.
No, are you saying that there's nothing good about
That you admire
working
about us.
with Gen Zs? Like when you look at us, like isn't there something we be like, don't we bring more
Admirable.
color, creativity?
Like we bring the vibe.
Like we bring the vibe. We do things like faster, like with AI, we do things in 1 minute. Like isn't that, wouldn't you
Isn't that
say that there's
exciting?
something that,
I think I enjoy like a certain suicidal approach to work. I think I enjoy that about the Gen Z mentality. I think my own moment, Ferdinand knows the Matrix. You guys have no idea what the Matrix is. Do you know what the Matrix is? You see, Ferdinand, you look at it. I think my moment of breaking away from the Matrix was many years ago. A client put me under extreme pressure to deliver a document. And I think a couple of us ended up staying in the office, I think until midnight or 1 a.m. And we sent the document, or we thought we did. And we called it a night, and that was the end of the story. Now, I think 2.5 weeks later, we get a frantic call from someone in the client team who says, hey, you guys, that document, you attached the wrong document. Can you send the right one?
This was after how many weeks?
I think in about 2.5 weeks. So I think in that, execution fatigue, or, when you're picking a document to attach, you maybe pick a document below or above, but not the one that you intend to do so. Now, that was the moment, I would say, that made me, what do people say? No one is
not
going to
that
die.
deep.
It's not that deep.
It's not that deep.
not that deep.
I forgot to
Yeah.
say. Yeah. I think we came into the workplace where I think we were a bit more differential, a bit more patient. But I enjoy the Gen Z attitude, which is more expressive, more emotional, more forthright, more forthcoming. And I think I enjoy it.
Okay.
Yeah, I enjoy working in that environment. Gen Zs make a big deal about their digital skills, digital literacy, digital fluency,
Are
and
you
whatnot.
going to say that?
Yeah?
Are you really going to
To do it.
to say that?
Like Rachel's signature has, Rachel's email, her signature is, if you want to talk to me, please book a spot. Right?
I've never seen that.
She does. And then she
I
gives
use
you...
my bookings very well.
So you don't just
Yeah.
walk up to her, intercom, Rachel, can I gossip with you? Nope. You have to,
To book a
you have
spot.
to book a spot.
No, when it's the gossip, sorry. You
You
get
have
a
to book a
bypass.
spot in the calendar. Yeah, that digital savviness is really attractive and also very important for the workplace, right? Though, and I think it was either you or Ferdinand who made this point earlier, that both of us need to come to a point where we understand each other.
Yeah.
So digital literacy, digital savviness, digital fluency is not the end goal. Because even with all those skills, you must still be able to produce client work product. And
And serve the
just because
clients.
you are digitally savvy does not necessarily mean that you produce a good
Product,
work
that's
a good
true.
product. That's a completely
But
and
it's
then
not
now
everything, yeah.
after that, then the more traditional or the more unromantic skills.
Like hard work and sacrifice.
No way, no. Beyond that.
Perseverance and
Of the
success.
pre-millennial,
Perseverance.
yeah, of the of the millennial and pre-millennial then comes in. So
Okay.
both sides needs to come.
And also for the millennials,
Yeah.
there's where the creativity and the savviness
Absolutely.
and efficiency of the younger people
because
would
even for
enhance.
for the millennial, a millennial or pre-millennial lawyer, many times just I think rely on their technical knowledge as a selling point. They say, me, I know the CPR back to back from the first one, the 1998 amendment. I know it. Ask me a question, I'll answer it. But client work product has also evolved over time. And the typical millennial, pre-millennial lawyer, their clients who can't relate anymore to how they talk, You know, you're talking to a lawyer and the lawyer says, according to the Jus Dem Generis rule, client switches off. The way they talk, the way they write, the way they produce work product is also a problem. So from that perspective, the millennial, pre-millennial lawyer can learn many things from how Gen Zs employ digital skills to deploy work product, and vice versa. Yeah.
Ferdinand.
Yes, Ferdinand.
Just before you ask,
yes,
when you talk about speaking to certain clients, and how you speak to them, and there is a client who said that the email was too tough because I said, dear so and so, and at the end of the email, I said, have a good day.
Have a good day.
Yes, she said it was too tough.
He didn't
say, please hesitate to contact me.
He didn't say another day, another slave.
Oh, okay.
Or like put some emoji.
I should have said hi, and some exclamations and some emojis.
Yeah.
Well,
yes.
What we wanted to know was even just someone looking at it from a business owner perspective or an employer perspective. You can see even just from the tone of this conversation, right? There's a clash of generations in the workplace, and we all have to exist together and work together at the end. So how do you think we can merge those viewpoints?
From the
I think it's pretty simple. It's just conversations like this for people to understand why certain things are the way they are. And that's why there is always that shift that Paul has been talking about, a shift in perspective to say, okay, whereas I thought this was this way, maybe if I had interacted with the client, I would know that it was the client that was under pressure that made me work at 8 p.m. So sometimes the millennials, now I'm a Gen Z, the millennials want to shield you from that pressure, and they only exert the pressure you're used to, which is me, or which is Paul, or which would be you in those circumstances, not to now expose you to the pressures of the client and what their world looks like at that point. They hope and pray that in time you'll be at that level
When your time comes,
and you'll be interacting with. And you can choose at that point if you're a business owner and say, no, for me, I don't work after 5. And you will go with that and see whether that will work for you. It could work for you, yes, but there are very high chances it might not work because it is not generally accepted. Now, I want to say that I enjoy working with Gen Zs. That's also working with myself. I've transitioned back.
He just keeps switching. He identifies as a Gen Z.
Work is a lot easier. Rachel sometimes says, let's work on this document together. What do you mean? so we sends you a link. You're working on one part and she's working. And that's cool. That's pretty cool, yeah? I know that for us that go to court, we used to mark...
We make work more enjoyable.
We used to mark trial bundles.
Ferdinand has said so many unspoken things, but go ahead.
We used to sit down manually and mark. You say we are going to mark 500 copies. I think people started with that style. Then they said, okay, let's make 1 copy, then photocopy. But you know what they do? They say, you scan the documents to me, and I do the magic. And a thing will be reproduced many times with the same numbering, and it's cool stuff. They are also very quick with work if you actually tell them what you want. I think sometimes the problems are lost in the instructions. But if you give good instructions and the Gen Z is switched on, you'll get your things very quickly. The other problem that might be the impediment might be all millennials are teachers. You know that? So someone will give you an assignment and keep the answer here. and wait for you.
Yes, and so we're wondering, but why?
which is
to figure it out and
which is
suffer with
Yeah.
it and, you know,
which is a problem,
like
which I'll
character
come to.
development.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
is
we're
a
always
problem.
like,
Yeah,
why?
yeah. So it depends on what we want to achieve. And of course, all those proposals sort of make mentorship very difficult. And I think the teaching aspect is just mentoring you. You do a case with someone, and then after they say, have you seen how I prepare? I have been asked before, and I said, I did, and it has improved maybe how I prepare as well. But the Gen Z is going to say, you were in the office on Saturday. I won't come. I don't want to see how. I'll find a solution. I'll find a solution. And the problem then becomes that once you start to panic, then you start using your tools, and the tools will not go to the what you call the unromantic. Those things that then you have problems like the reports you hear that they concocted authorities or they submitted a brief that had
Errors.
Errors of
Errors of
one side of the document.
typos.
Anyway, you find that they generate AI-generated paragraphs and whatever. So you find that you're panicking, and that's because I believe you would not have enjoyed the mentorship of the older generation.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but there's a lot that can be achieved through conversation and through understanding on both ends. Like I said at the start, the Gen Z, we like to be understood. We don't like to understand the other positions. I think it should be both ways. That when we have a conversation, I understand your problems. And no, this side. So that when we have a conversation,
Very nice.
you understand my problems.
Everything that's wrong with this country. That's right there. Okay.
Yes. Just again, when Ferdinand was talking, I agree with him. Cuts across both ways. So the millennial employer or the pre-millennial employer, in as much as they would hate to admit it, has an obligation to understand what do I do to get the best out of the Gen Z employee, right? It's now an unwritten obligation. And now, to the point about perspectives changing, right? Right. I think I'm now a bit intolerant of millennial employers or pre-millennial who do not appear to make an effort to appreciate what do I need to do to get the best out of this Gen Z employee.
That's true.
Number one, Gen Z, they value collaboration. So, the era of go figure it out, die with it, and then come back to me.
Yeah.
That era is gone.
That's
era
going
of,
to stress the Gen Z out.
The era
And
of
then-
deliberately confusing instructions or not giving people a clear. People want
Full
clarity.
instructions,
Absolutely.
not giving them,
Full
It's setting me a trap.
collaborative, full collaborative instructions or guidance, right? And we joked earlier about the paradox of Gen Z. Gen Zs like to speak about agency and I can
Autonomy.
do this, autonomy.
Yeah,
I need to
yeah.
see. But if you want to distress a Gen Z
You
employee,
leave them in the work alone.
you tell them, you go and figure it out. Completely stressful. Yeah. Then I think the final point I'd make is rather than patronize them, just understand them. I mean, Gen Zs have views about what they consider to be mental health. We have views about what we consider to be mental resilience, or just understanding that certain problems that you go through in the workplace. Obviously, I'm not talking about chronic problems. That's another set of issues altogether. But that some of the challenges which they go through and which come off as simplistic mental health problems are actually just pain points in life, which with the assistance of one or two or three people
And some tools
can be easily overcome. Yeah, so that language needs to say, rather than lecture them, we should be not
Work
lecture,
with
not
us.
patronize, but show some empathy. I should educate you to understand that what you feel is a problem actually is not.
It's just life.
And it's no, not that dismissively, of course.
Yeah.
What you think is a problem is not a problem, and it will get better, right? Sometimes the response can be immediate, dismissive, patronizing. That one is weak. End of story, right? Yeah.
Okay. I feel better. I feel
feel seen.
You feel seen?
Yeah, I feel
like
seen.
we're ending better than we started.
Yeah.
So
Suddenly you're paid enough.
Rachel, what do they
Where's my
does the employer
where's my
have
hit
to
list?
do to retain to attract and retain you?
Gen Zs.
Yeah, finally as we close.
She can start with remuneration. She can fess up and say remuneration is extremely important.
Money is very important.
That came from management, just for the record. No, but I feel that, the millennial employers or the workplace needs to just be a bit more accommodative of some of the Gen Z needs. So, for example, if I say, is it okay for me to come in at 9 because I'm going to leave at maybe 7 or 8? Like a little bit of flexibility would be really nice because Gen Zs want work to be a part of their day, not their day to be about work.
Yeah.
So you look back 5 years and you're like, I really worked. But when are you, when are you leaving? Like I said earlier, when are you leaving? So it's just a little bit of those small things. Can I come in a little bit later?
Because I'll be leaving later.
Yes,
or
because
I
I'll be
work
leaving
the
later.
weekend.
Flexi hours.
Or if I come in at 7, am I allowed to leave at 3 or at 4? Can I leave at 3 or 4? So small things like that. I don't want to go into remuneration because because management
You hold our views in your hands.
because
In your
management
hands
is
like
here.
this.
But also there's also a view by Gen Zs that when they switch jobs, some employers tend to take it a bit personally.
Hold it against them.
Yes, and or if maybe they turn down, like say opportunities
or like a brief.
a brief
Yes.
or like no, a brief is different, but like opportunities, especially switching jobs, because it's said that Ferdinand said we just wake up and say
It's not working for me.
It's not giving, or I don't feel that.
Thank you for correcting my language.
Forgot that one.
It's not giving, or I don't feel like it.
forgot that.
And so when you leave the job, these Gen Zs are so unserious.
And
but the Gen
ungrateful
Zs are
and so,
saying it's not that deep. But I feel that we also suffer from a lot of exposure. We literally have the world at our feet. People went to law school and said, I don't think this is working for me. And so
and now you can work from anywhere. You can earn from your
work
phone
remotely.
Yeah.
So it's just that being a little bit more accommodative and meeting each other in the middle, I feel like that will help us work a little bit better.
That's true.
Yeah.
We're
Ruth, one last one.
protecting
Give us.
ourselves. No. I am just here to. I don't even identify as any of the generations that featured on this podcast, just to make that clear. But we do want to hear from our audience, whichever generation you represent, what your thoughts are, what your views are about the different things that we have spoken about. Feel free to leave those comments, and we will engage, push this conversation forward, and hope to see you at the next one. Bye-bye.